In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the Couatl is described as a large serpentine creature with feathered wings, often bathed in divine light to give it an otherworldly glow. They were solitary celestial creatures, and on the material plane were most often associated with the Maztecan deities, though they were able to travel the planes as they saw fit. Many acted as messengers for specific deities in the Maztecan pantheon, but with the eventual fall of their empire and the splintering of their people, the Couatl race experienced a sharp decline in number and are rarely seen in the material plane. The Couatl has an AC of 19 and 97 hit points, and can slither 30 feet per turn or fly 90. They have a strength of 3, a dex of +5, a con of +3, an int of +4, a wisdom of 5, and a charisma of +4, making them extremely well-rounded. They have saving throws in constitution, wisdom, and charisma, which makes them harder to affect by most spells. They're also resistant to radiant damage and immune to psychic damage and non-magical weapon attacks. They have true sight up to 120 feet and a passive perception of 15, as well as the ability to speak all languages telepathically. They're innate spellcasters with a spell save of 14. They can cast Detect Good and Evil, Detect Magic, and Detect Thoughts at will, and can cast Bless, Create Food and Water, Cure Wounds, Lesser Restoration, Protection from Poison, Sanctuary, and Shield 3 times per day. Once per day, they can also cast Dream, Greater Restoration, and Scrying. Their attacks are all considered magical, and they have the trait Shielded Mind, which makes them immune to scrying as well as any effects that would allow people to affect their emotions, read their thoughts, or discern their location. In combat, the Couatl can use its Bite or Constrict attacks, or decide to use a spell. The Bite has a +8 to hit and deals 1d6 +5 damage, a potential of 6 to 11. A target must then succeed on a DC 13 con save or else be poisoned for 24 hours. The poison knocks the target unconscious, but another player can use their action to wake them up. The Constrict attack has a +6 to hit, a reach of 10 feet, and deals 2d6 +3 damage, a potential of 5 to 15. On hit, a target is automatically grappled, which can be broken with a DC 15 strength check. The Couatl can only restrict one person at a time. In addition to this, the Couatl can use an action to change their shape, becoming a medium or small humanoid or beast with a challenge rating equal or less than 4. They retain their ability to speak and their stats, but their AC, movement, strength, and dex are replaced with those of their new form, and they also take on any traits or abilities of this form, with the exception of class features, legendary actions, or lair actions. Furthermore, if the new form has a bite attack itself, the Couatl can choose to continue to use their own. As a DM, I view the Couatl as a monster similar to the Sphinxes. Based on their spells, they are meant to act as guides, messengers, and healers to good-aligned creatures. However, like the Sphinxes, the Couatl are also built for combat should your players decide to engage. As a note, it's listed as a CR4 creature, but in my opinion, this is very low considering its AC, HP, and abilities. The low challenge rating might be due to its good alignment, and the potential for it to be an ally to players, as well as acting as a limiter for its change shape ability. But if your players decide to fight it, and they're under at least level 6, they're probably going to have a bad time. I would start combat by having the Couatl use its bonus action to cast Sanctuary on itself to help prevent attacks, re-upping this whenever it goes down. Most of its spells are utility or healing based, so they'll be used sparingly or as needed to heal or cleanse debuffs. The exception to this is Shield, which I would use each round to a maximum of 3 times should anyone get between a 19 to 23 to hit on an attack. I would then have it target the player it perceives as the weakest in strength and go for a Constrict attack. If constricted, I would have it fly straight up as far as it can, holding the player in place. On its next turn, I would have it use its free action to release the person being grappled. Fall damage states that it's 1d6 per 10 feet fallen, so this could be devastating to a lower level party member, especially those who cannot prevent or lessen the damage. I would then have the Couatl swoop down each turn and grab the weaker players, especially those with range abilities, and drop them each turn. Once they're unconscious, I would switch the strategy to one of swooping down to bite melee players and flying away. This will proc an opportunity attack, but it also allows the Couatl to avoid the full assault they could potentially release on their full turn. If any player fails the saving throw and falls asleep, the Couatl will shift its attention to other players. As an added way to be mean to your players, you could have your Couatl fighting in an environment with a huge fall, such as a mountain, and have them drop players off the side. The Couatl clearly takes inspiration from the Aztec deity Quetzalcoatl, a creature whose name in Nahuatl means feathered serpent, or Quetzal feathered serpent. In the 17th century, an Aztec royal further described the word as referring to a serpent of precious feathers, but also as an allegorical phrase meaning the wisest of of men. In Aztec culture, Quetzalcoatl was firmly related to the gods of the wind. He was also associated with the breaking of dawn, was a patron deity of merchants, art, crafting, and knowledge, and was primarily worshipped by priests and other men of learning. He was often referred to in ancient histories as one of the most important gods in the pantheon, right along ones like Tlaloc, the god of rain and harvest. Many documented instances of Quetzalcoatl worship show that he was viewed as a manifestation of nature, and was adored by scores of people across Mesoamerica. He was also associated with royalty and priestly office, and was therefore used as an emblem of office, power, and the Mesoamericans' version of the divine rule of kings. In comparing the monster to the myth, we find that the Couatl is very similar to the god that inspired it. The descriptions of a winged serpent are pretty much the same, and even the abilities of the monster liken it to a divine messenger and healer who adores and protects knowledge and those who seek it. The only real difference here is that in D&D, the Couatl is a rare celestial creature in the service of the gods, instead of being a god itself. If you enjoyed that video, consider giving it a like and giving me a follow. And for more of my videos, you can find me on Twitch @Moglaroo, YouTube @MoglarooStreams, and TikTok @MoglarooStreams as well.